Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another exciting episode of Stacker News Live. My name is Car. I'm with PlebPoet. Can you believe it?
Hey, what's up?
How's your Friday going?
My Friday's going pretty good. I've been busy today. I've been rushing around. How about you? How's your day?
Keep talking. I'm doing the retweets and stuff.
Wait, you
like that.
collaborate or you calibrate the sound? You got the sound down. Now you got to tweet out that you're live. That's what
that's what I do. It's a whole process.
This is a whole production.
A whole process.
And let me tell you, I love Stacker News Live.
What? You do? How do you even know
it should be broadcast? It should totally replace SNL. This is the new SNL.
What? We don't even do skits yet.
But we could do skits.
We could probably do skits. I wanted you on the show because I don't think people realize, like, PlebPoet has been a big part of the Stacker News community for a while now. You write on there.
I've been loving it. You even do
clips. You're working with Keon and
anything
some other stuff. And I just wanted to give you your flowers because you made this amazing post.
Thanks.
I'm always blown away by your talent. You know that. But talk about this post. It's called "What is PlebPoet?" Mm-hmm. My opening remarks. Mm-hmm. You dropped this on the 5th, which was 2 days ago.
Yeah. Okay. So it's been 2 weeks that since this week. Now I've got 3 consecutive weeks of just sharing poetry. And I have this whole poetry book. Like, these are screenshots from my poetry book that I have actually made. And it's been years in the making. And I just decided, it's really hard to justify, creating a poetry book because, who's gonna, where is it gonna go? What is it for? But I was just like, you know what? The writing I've been doing so far on Stacker News has been really encouraging me, and I'm just surprised that people care about it, and so I was like, let's just see what these poems do, and that's why they're up there. Just trying to test it out, see if people like poetry, if they like what I'm about, and just actually help me believe in myself a little bit, you know?
Dude, we all believe in you. Seriously.
Thanks.
I think this is amazing. We don't see I think we don't really see very unique handcrafted art these days. And whenever I do see it, I'm just we need more of it. This is the stuff that really comes from the soul.
Yeah.
And when I read it, it was just peering into that and being able to see that in that part of you.
Yeah.
Which was this is what I said, because I'm really dumb. So I said it took me a couple times to read it and picture it in my head. But this is so good. Maybe you can make a real world copy of this. And then Farscapian, big fan of the show too. He said, more, please.
Yeah.
Nice work. Regarding your open introduction, I have been reading The Revenge of Analog, which describes the importance of physical spaces and physical products. What's your thought about that kind of stuff?
Well, this person in particular, Chunking Express, has shared some photography and a little bit of poetry before as well. So I know that this person is on my wave. We're thinking the same.
Right.
Revenge of Analog. I think that's that's kind of punk. That's kind of what I'm into.
Yeah, it's a cool title.
Yeah.
What do you think about the physical spaces? I mean, obviously you're here at PlebLab, but what do you think? What's your kind of I don't know. What's your heat check on that? Whenever you go to Austin has a lot of these kind of places, but what's your kind of opinion on these things?
Yeah, man, I just think the more you can translate what you think is valuable into the physical world, the better. Not that there's anything wrong with the digital world. Of course, being able to transfer information instantly globally is pretty insanely important, but also real life in the reality space of the physical world shouldn't be neglected.
I think so. I think you're right. There's something to be said about keeping stuff on the online world and just leaving it there, and then bringing stuff to the physical world. And that's why I'm a big believer.
That's what I would hope for all of my any work that I do. I would hope that I would put just as much work into how I share it physically as I would digitally, and it's important that relationship is kind of transparent.
Yeah, look at all the work you've done.
Here's some of the stuff I've done.
Look at all that work. Wow.
I've been having a good time.
What's Pleb Print Shop? Never heard of it.
Pleb Print Shop. We do stickers. We do T-shirts. If you're having a conference and you want independent, Bitcoin only boutique like artist experience extravaganza. Hit me up. I just want to make art that is cool, and it's not going to be just kind of like the standard, like, oh, it's Bitcoin, let's make it orange.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, that really bugs me too. Yeah, this is amazing. Amazing, PlebPoet. Look what you've done. Look at this.
Yeah, so that's my book. I stitched it and printed it, and I'm trying to do it again, but it's really difficult. We'll see if I can pull it off.
Yeah, when's your next what's your next zine, or when's your next workshop, I should say?
Yeah.
When are you doing your next workshop?
I've been thinking about workshop because we've done t-shirt workshops here at Pleb Lab.
Yeah.
And I see people wearing their t-shirts, and I'm thinking, do we do another t-shirt workshop? I did a zine workshop.
I'm going to do a multimedia workshop next month.
Okay.
Because I have that computer right there, that card computer.
Okay.
I still need more time playing with it, but I think I'm going to do a multimedia workshop.
Yeah,
just to kind of share the knowledge that I know.
Oh yeah, that's great. Yeah, I just want to do art stuff. So
yeah, that'd be dope.
Whenever that makes sense, I'll get it back in.
Sapper stackers, zap it.
Thanks.
Thanks for coming on the show.
I got. If you look at my bio, people did not like my bio, but I just keep it simple. That's how it goes.
That's awesome. Yeah. Check out PlebPoet on Stacker News, and then also check out our website, plebpoet.com. But thanks, Janet. Thanks for coming on the show, and thank you for for doing all that you do for the community.
Hell yeah, let's go.
All right. Keon, are you around?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay. Cool. There you go.
Stand in. My own podcast.
What did you think? Did you read her post?
I have not read it yet. I'm bad.
It takes a couple reads.
I know.
It takes a couple reads.
Takes a couple reads.
Yeah, it's just really.
It's deep because it's
poetry. Deep. Yeah, it's poetry. Like, you know.
Yeah, it's like literally poetry.
Cool. How was your week, dude?
My week, it was good.
Was it?
Yeah, it had at least 7 days on it. And so that was nice, all the days that happened.
Yeah.
Negotiating my lease for the next year.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, is it the same? Oh, no, you moved, right?
I moved. So
I never saw your another place. This place. I never saw it.
It's a secret Citadel.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, that's all that's really going. Still working on wallet stuff, which is coming along. I think I might be able to even release it next week.
Wow.
So, and that's exciting because it's
That's
a big. We had to rewrite like basically all of our payments. Which was a lot.
Oh, bueno.
But it was fun because normally as a programmer it's usually not justifiable to rewrite something, but when you have a huge requirement that you need to meet, sometimes you have to, and then it's really satisfying because you get to do it the way that that maybe should have been written from the beginning. So pretty cool. How about your week? How was your week?
It was really good. Kind of a slow week. Austin is kind of like in summer vacay mode, so that was good.
Everyone leaves Austin, right?
Everybody leaves
except
Austin.
the tourists. The tourists come in droves while it's hot.
Yeah, it's been a good week. Recorded a couple pods. Going to be on the Stringer podcast this week or next week, whenever you.
I thought you already did it. What are you you're gonna talk about communism, right?
No, we didn't talk about communism. Believe it or not, we talked about Texas and community stuff. That was cool. And and then Teresa's in town too, so we've been knocking out some Pleb Lab work. And it's been a good week.
It has been a good week.
If you've never seen this crazy show before, it's called Stacker News Live. It's one of the most popular Bitcoin podcasts in the ecosystem. We cover the news. We just cover the Stackers news that they post every week. Stuff that we don't want to talk about, like today's top story. I don't want to talk about this anymore, but we cover it. We cover it because this is what the Stackers want us to talk about. We don't make the news here. We don't shill the news here. We just deliver the news here. And so every week we do it at 4 p.m. Hit that subscribe button, drop us some sats, and leave us some mean comments because it makes me...
Or creepy ones.
Creepy ones too. I mean, like last week, man, Darth was lighting us up in the comments.
I think it was mostly me.
It was mostly you. Yeah, it was great.
Because I misunderstood.
This is
the way
when you
Zeus
actually.
works or something.
This is when you actually get to criticize Keon. He loves this too. Keon loves this.
Yeah,
Drop
I love
it in
to
the
feel
comments.
bad about myself.
You know I'm gonna
It's the
read it.
best.
Like I'm gonna read it. It's good for everybody. Anyways, let's jump into the top 5 stories this week on Stacker News. The first top story is Ecash mints are just like the Fed's repo window. This is a Bitcoin territory 7 hours ago from Scoresby. 29 comments, 16,400 sats. What's this, Keon?
Yeah, this is great. So Scoresby continues to find a decent metaphor for Ecash, trying to put it in a common framing for people, and try to avoid the common accepted framing, which is the Ecash mint as custodying your Bitcoin. And he's like, is there another way that we can interpret what's going on here that might remove the legal liability from mint operators? And in this case, he's describing it as a repo, which is basically where a bank loans the Fed money, and then the Fed gives the bank a treasury, and then in the morning they do that at night, and then in the morning the bank sells back the treasury to the Fed for slightly more, like a very small increase in price. So that's a reverse repo. And so you could kind of imagine the Ecash buyer as kind of the Fed in this case, where they are giving the mint sats, and the mint is giving the Ecash buyer Ecash, and then later they can trade their Ecash back. They can trade more Ecash back to get the same amount of sats. And so it's kind of an interesting framing. I'm not sure if that actually alleviates any legal liability on the part of operating a mint, because fundamentally a MSB is you're allowing people to transfer money-like instruments to each other. And if there's any redeemability for money, which mints do, then it's still an MSB. Like even if you have Amazon, if you deal exclusively in Amazon gift cards, there are jurisdictions in the world that will consider that money transmission and money services to allow people to transfer around Amazon gift cards. So I'm not sure, this fixes anything, but I think it actually is probably the best metaphor for what is going on in a mint, other than, a mint, unlike the Fed, and most banks can completely disappear.
Yeah, we had the top comment from Ball Lightning. He says about custody. I think they call them custodial because the mine has custody over your Bitcoin. So the mint has custody over your Bitcoin. You have custody over your Ecash nodes. I think this explanation is simple enough. Scoresby says, I agree that the custody model is fairly straightforward. Only it leaves mints in a very tenuous legal position and hides the fact that you do have some power that traditional custody doesn't afford to you. Super Testnet jumps in. He says, quotations, only it leaves mints in a very tenuous legal position. And then he says, that's not a good reason to pretend they are something else. You don't get to make up new definitions just because you don't like the legal consequences of the correct definition. Then he says, and hides the fact that you do have some power that traditional custody doesn't afford to you. He says, then it's enhanced custody in quotations, but it's still custody. Imagine if every custodian who added some new feature declared that they weren't a custodian anymore because traditional custodians don't have feature X in quotation exclamation point. It would be ridiculous. If you still have user funds, you're a custodian. And just because Ecash mints have some cool features does not make them non-custodial. So it still feels like, this is me talking now, Supers. He goes into a lot more things here, but it just feels like there are the same kind of posts that we saw last week where people are trying to come to terms on some of these definitions.
Yeah,
what do you think?
Yeah, I thought one of the interesting points that Scoresby makes in here is that Ecash does have new abilities. It isn't strictly the same as a normal custodian, and so that's kind of because you can take it offline and I can transfer it to you and you can transfer me yours and we can trade in that without really the mint's permission. And so that is unique. But I'm not, is it still custodial? In some dimension, yes. In another, no. Like, it's like a different form of custodianship, but I don't think that alleviates it of being custodial. So it's interesting, regardless. And I think that's why Scoresby keeps doing it over and over again. You don't like Ecash, do you?
I already have my definition for it.
Should play that on the podcast right now.
No, I just like I've already come to terms with what it is, if that makes any sense. Like I told you, I see it as simple as this. I see a CBDC and I see Bitcoin, and Ecash is somewhere in the middle of there. And I think that's the best framing for the plebs. If they're trying to figure out the framing for how do we get this palatable to the plebs, it's that framing. I'm a pleb, I know. It's like that's something that's I'm cool with that. Do I like it? No. Will I try to avoid it? Probably, yeah. Until there's a little bit more, like we said last week, like till there's more, like laws passed, or there's community banks doing it. You can now run a federate. Like I need to wait and see for all that before I become comfortable. So I think right now it's just we're arguing over things that we don't even know how they're going to play out yet, or not even arguing. We're trying to talk about something that it's like trying to talk about who's going to be in the Super Bowl next year, and we don't even know who is going to be drafted yet, kind of thing. Where it's like we got a long way to go.
When Pleb Lab football team?
Yeah, maybe.
Who would be the quarterback?
Yeah, that's just kind of where that's why I'm just kind of like I'm over the whole Ecash debate at this point until there's more data and more till somebody spins up a federation. Somebody needs to go out on the hill and die on it. Potentially, maybe it's Stacker News.
What? I'm done
but
with.
You know what I mean? Like there needs to be somebody go up the hill and see if they're going to get taken down. That's what I'm trying to say. I don't know who's doing that, or I don't know who's going to do that. Until that point, I don't see the going back and forth with the definition stuff. It's still too early. Sorry if that wasn't answer you're looking for.
Well, I don't think. It's mostly for me. I think Scoresby is trying to understand Ecash better, and that's what pursuing an accurate definition is attempting to do. I don't see it as like
he should talk
the
to
future.
I mean, he's in town. He should talk to the mutiny guys. Oh, sorry, but you know what I mean. Like he could talk to the mutiny guys and all those people. He really wants a definition.
Yeah, he might already be.
Yeah,
this might be a paid post by Mutiny. Just kidding. I know it's not.
Whoa! Wow, those are some. I'm just kidding. I did think it was weird though, like because I saw this post this morning and I was like, oh great, another Ecash post. But I love Scoresby, so I was like, okay, well let me read it. And still didn't change my position on it, but I was like, there's no way this makes the top 5 today. And then when I start getting ready for Stacker News Live, I see it. I'm like, oh wow, I made the top 5. So yeah, definitely something going on behind the scenes. Coob.
Oh, I don't think there's anything going behind the scenes. I think everyone is just kind of
coordinated coordinated Ecash top 5
and intrigued.
Stacker News Live pick.
Yeah.
Hey man, you want me to talk about it? I'll continue talking about it, but you're not gonna like the answer. I mean, that's why I wasn't gonna say anything until you said say something. I was like, okay.
I like people to hear your thoughts,
even
when you're not willing to share them, especially when the ones that you like freely share. I don't really.
Oh, you like the ones like these when I'm just like, oh wow.
When you're closed lip, I can bring it out.
Yeah, like today I didn't want to talk about it. I was just like,
yeah, all good.
No, but I think I mean, dude, I'll be bullish as soon as like Scoresby start a federation. Like I'll be like, whoa, let's see where this goes. Like somebody needs to go up the hill and die, potentially. I'm just saying, like, until we move forward on this, I don't see any point talking about it.
But sometimes you go up the hill and you live, and then you make a Citadel in the valley.
Yeah, we'll see how that plays out. That's what I'm saying. I'm not going to die on Ecash hill. I'll die on a Bitcoin hill if we have to. I don't want to die on a Bitcoin hill. But if it comes down to that, I will. I don't want to. For the record, I do not want to. I want to move quietly into the night and, but
race motorcycles in the desert.
But at Ecash, though, like somebody needs to go up the hill and potentially
see what's there.
I mean, potentially, it seems like that guy who's doing the cashew stuff is potentially doing that, maybe. or at least for cash. I don't know if it's the
don't-
same thing, but
No, I don't think so. I mean, I
No?
think he's just developing software, and he's not even forming a company around it.
so maybe
consciously.
that'll be the first one. I mean, somebody needs to try spinning up a federation and see if it lives in America.
Oh, I think there are already federations spun up in America. I would
Which
guess.
ones?
I don't know of any, but
Yeah.
I would guess people are doing
That's
it.
why I think the mining thing is more interesting to me. I think if there was like a mining federation, I think that would really be good for Ecash.
Oh, you mean like paying out miners?
No, I just think there should be some sort of mining federation of a sort. It would be interesting.
Oh, you mean Bitcoin miners running
Federation of a sort. Yeah.
federations? Okay, because
that'd
they're
be-
already trusted,
Yeah.
or you already know they're doing work.
Yeah, they're closest to the spigot, right? That would be interesting. Somebody should make that deal happen. I'm giving out all these great ideas. Anyways, the next top story is announcing Super TXSE workshops. This is from Super TXSE. June 4th, Bitcoin territory, 45 comments, 7,213 sats. Keon, what is this?
Yeah, so I don't know. Super
In a world.
Super is selling his video. Who made this video for him, by the way? Was it Logan?
No, I didn't even know he was doing it. He didn't even tell me. We would have helped him, but he did
he
a good job.
He made a good video on his
Yeah,
own. Yeah,
it looks amazing.
So Super is selling his services as a super educator,
Yeah.
and he's trying to teach people how to be a Bitcoin developer like him.
That's so cool.
You'll learn how to write all your code in a single
That's at MIT
HTML
right there.
file. Was it really?
No, I'm just kidding. It looks like it.
I mean, Super's a big celeb now, so it's pretty awesome. And he's charging really fair prices for his class.
Super fair.
And he's very practical. He's so if you want to learn this kind of stuff, Super is simultaneously extremely practical as a human being, and then also very good at explaining complex things simply.
Yeah.
So I think he's
Plus, he loves teaching.
Yeah.
And he makes it fun.
exactly
Like all the best educators do that. Nifty does that. Super does that. Carmen does that.
Pleb. Pleb Dev does it.
Pleb Dev does it. Topher, like all the best educators do that. They make it fun, which Bitcoin's hard enough. You know, we could potentially go to jail, but they're making it fun.
That's right. I think this is pretty awesome, and I would take advantage of his classes. And so for only $20, and he'll teach you how to code like him. And I think it's pretty cool. I hope people take him up on the offer. And
I think so. He's selling them on Stacker News. Like all of these are like sales. So
he's like, yeah, go to my website.
he should do it on
Check
Agora. I saw in here in the comments. He should do it
post it on Agora.
Yeah, Agora. That would be my 2 cents or my 2 sats. And then
I think he spun up a new web page for himself. And everything.
let me share the webpage because we didn't share the webpage.
I mean, I don't know if
Where's
this
it at?
existed before.
Oh, he doesn't have it in his bio.
It was in. He
was
shared it
here, right here, yeah.
supertestnet.org.
Right here, look, that's awesome.
I mean, it looks a lot like Magic Web Store.
But I love how he did this.
Reuse
He's
the
like
code.
paid version, free version, the exact same thing. But you, it's so great. It's so great.
He uses Shopster to sell. If you go to like,
Oh, does he?
If you go to pay him for the paid version there.
Shopster. Yeah, that's the best marketplace. That's cool. Yeah, I love Shopster. Anyways, cool. The next top story is how Bitcoin can play into the minimalism movement. This is a Bitcoin territory post June 5th from SatsMate. 25 comments, 1,803 sats. Keon, what is this?
Yeah, the SatsMate is observing the similarities between the minimalism, like minimalism and Bitcoin, and I don't know if they're similar so much as like Bitcoiners tend to be more minimal in their consumption, and just like observing the consistency between the two quote unquote philosophies, or that Bitcoin leads someone to minimalism perhaps in a way that most people don't get there. But there has been I feel like last 5-10 years, there has been a bit of a movement. I remember watching a documentary on minimalism where people are just like getting rid of their stuff, and they're like, people have too much stuff. I had too much stuff. Like, I want to travel, but I have all this stuff, an apartment full of stuff. So I just got rid of the stuff, and now I have 2 shirts and 1 pair of underwear, and I'm happy as ever. Is kind of it's kind of, I'm kind of making it a joke,
Yeah,
but it's like, I think there's a reasonable level of it and it makes a lot of sense. I don't think you really need a lot of belongings.
Okay, Undisciplined with the top comment. It says, having a money that is a real store of value changes the way people think about spending. You have to give up something really valuable for each purchase. Whereas with fiat, you're dumping a depreciating asset when you spend it. That difference will orienting people towards only spending on things they truly value. Darthcoin says, dumping a depreciating asset, wrong. Bitcoin is not an asset, in quotations. Who thinks the BTC is an asset is a moron. Do not understand. Know what is freedom money. Oh my god!
Just bringing that podcast.
And then Undisciplined says, "Learn to read, bro. If you're going to call me a moron, if you try to understand what I actually said." The depreciating asset is a fiat currency. Darthcoin says, "I am watching very closely. What are you talking about?" Oh, this is great, dude. Yeah, if you guys want to go read the Undisciplined and Darthcoin fight, check it out. Pretty good stuff. Do you think? Let's just really piss off Darth. Do you think Bitcoin is a financial asset?
I mean, I don't know what like
a security or like a ETF. I think that's what he means.
Oh, well, no, not like that. But I think asset has a fairly broad definition. I'm bad with words.
I think for me, it's like, it depends who you're talking to, right? Like if you're talking to snackers, then you need to say freedom money. If you're talking to, like, it depends on the audience that you're talking to. I personally believe it's freedom money, but
can it be a freedom asset? Is that not a thing it can be?
No, I don't think so.
I think it could be. Can it be both? Can it be a freedom asset and freedom money?
I think it could be whatever you want it to be. But
okay.
I personally think it's freedom money.
I think it's. I don't know. I think it's just.
Say it's an asset.
I don't need
It'd be good for the pod.
The Death Star's laser.
Death Star. You just see the Death Star rise behind us. And then he's going to go pew pew.
Yeah.
Pew pew. So long, Naboo. Isn't that the name of the planet? Alderaan. Anyways.
I think of Bitcoin.
Good post.
Bitcoin is money. And
what do you think about the minimalism stuff? Do you think there's something to be said about that?
Yeah. When we moved to Austin and even before then, I've been a huge, we packed up our cars and just what fit in our cars we brought. And even before then, I made furniture out of like used things that we had lying around or shopped exclusively at thrift stores. So I think it does appeal to a minimalist person. You buy this one thing, whether it's freedom money or a freedom asset, and you hold on to it, and then you don't even really buy many things. You kind of try to take care of your body and your life and relationships and stuff, but otherwise it is a pretty minimal thing, even in terms of like among things that you can buy. Yeah. You're not buying a whole portfolio of things. You're buying just Bitcoin. I don't know. How about you? What do you think?
I always feel like there's times in my life where I've been very minimalist. Right now, definitely in the minimalism mindset. But, you get in relationships and you start buying more things,
Yeah. Do you think that's like a lady thing?
I don't know. Because there's ladies in the room. I don't know.
That's what I'm trying to get you to say your real truth.
I don't know. Maybe a question for a different day. Coob. Okay. No, I think I do think it's I think it's a real thing with Bitcoiners for sure. Right. So
yeah, absolutely. Most Bitcoiners I know are living way below their means.
100%.
Relative to most of the fiat people I know.
Yeah. And we're really good at it too.
But I do know some fiat people.
And we're really good at it too.
But the fiat people that I know who are minimalists, I have a really easy time orange pilling them. So it's like that's how like the crossover is strong. Like a friend who's more minimal maybe than even me, back when we were minimal together. And he eventually went in on Bitcoin.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So I think I think it might, but my friends who are more fiat minded.
Well, it's like that old saying, right? It's like less is more. I think that's 100% true, and you can apply that to everything. Less is more. I believe it just puts the things that matter in perspective when you operate that way. At least that's what I believe.
In negotiating my lease, me and my wife have been talking a lot about attachment. Like, how attached, like in the context of like, how attached are we to our current place? Can we detach from it emotionally? Does it matter to like who we are that we are in this specific place? And it's really helpful to be able to.
Are you attached to it or not?
No, I'm generally very detached from most things. Because it just feels a lot more. I feel freer.
I get attached more to people, I think, is my big thing.
Yeah, that's a good thing to get attached to.
Yeah, I think that's my thing. I'm less attached to things, more attached to people and experiences, I would say. That's my, if you call it a flaw.
I don't know if it's a flaw, but
some people are attached to like things. They're things. Like we know a couple people like that.
I think it's a mistake.
I mean, if it makes them happy, I
think even I think you're only attached to what you can control, which is like you.
Yeah, definitely attached to memories too. I have memories like that are in my head. I just love those memories. If that makes any sense, I'm just like, oh, let me play that back. And I'm like, oh, I remember that.
Oh, I don't do that at all.
Really?
I don't like memories much.
That's why I have music. Like it's just like it's like it brings it right back there. That's why I love it. Music's so good with memories.
Yeah, but you see, this is interesting because you also like to rewatch movies.
Oh yeah,
and stuff. I never rewatch anything. I don't reread books. I don't rewatch movies. I don't rewatch shows.
Wow.
I will not. I don't like revisiting. I want new. I want novel, which is weird.
Yeah.
And I also don't like memory, so it might be the same. I mean, I don't mind them so much, but I don't try to hold on to them.
Yeah, I love. I get very like man, I don't remember how did that play out. That's why I ask like, what happened that day? You remember? Like me, I always tell you like, no, it was this, and you're like, no, it didn't happen that way. It happened this way, and I'll be like, oh, because I got too much stored up there.
You do, yeah. You will store. I do store weird
things. Anyways, the next top story is gold confiscation in Shanghai, 1948. This is from Signal 312, June 3rd. History territory, 24 comments, 3,376 sats. What is this, Keon?
Yeah, so late last year, Signal wrote another post on gold confiscation in the United States in 1933, and he links to it here. And this week he wrote two kind of updates to it. But this one that landed in the top stories was a post about gold confiscation in China. And so I think he specifically said Shanghai. But he's trying to learn like what will happen when Bitcoin becomes something governments want.
Oh, wow.
And
so he's doing the research now.
Yeah.
Thank you for your service.
Yeah, I think, he's like thinking through Bitcoin adoption, and it's like, all right, so there is this point where it's like an inflection point where governments really want Bitcoin and a lot of their citizenry has Bitcoin. What happens now? And in the case of gold, they tried to confiscate it. And in China, it was kind of very aggressive, and I think they literally killed people to convince other people to give up their golds. Like when they caught people who weren't giving up their gold, they killed them.
Yeah.
But not a bunch of them, but some of them. And then also, told the public that they had technology to detect that they were holding gold when they weren't, and were doing home searches and stuff like that. But in the United States, he does an update where he says that based on most analysis, most of America didn't give up their gold when
they hit it, right? Didn't they hit it?
Yeah, they hit it, but if you look at the balance sheet of I guess the Treasury or whoever was holding the gold, it doesn't really make sense. And so what's likely happening is they're hiding the fact that they didn't actually acquire much gold as a result of the act.
Dude, this is amazing. I love the stackers go down these rabbit holes, and it's the benefit to. This is why. Here, this is give you your flowers today, Keon. This is why Stacker News should exist, simply for these kind of posts, because you can't get this at Reddit, you can't get this at Hacker News, but you can get it at Stacker News. These are going to be the people that need to know. I need to know this stuff. right? Like these are the things the stackers want to know. And so the stacker will go and like research all this and bring it back. This is amazing.
Yeah, I think there's really something about encountering thoughts from people who
like-minded,
who you're loosely like-minded. I mean, we have in common this one thing, which is Bitcoin, but otherwise, I don't know where Signal 3312 is. We probably would have never met. I would have never heard any of his thoughts. That's what makes kind of communities on the internet really powerful.
I think just be. I mean, the stackers should know this, and most of them already do. But just be aware that everything that your KYC and AML, that Bitcoin amount is directly tracked to who you are, potentially your Nostr pub key, potentially your Stacker News account, potentially like everything, date of birth, all that. So just be ready for that. This is why cold storage. No one knows about it. You don't talk about it. Off-grid mining, all that kind of stuff. Like that's why that's more important. I think for the mass majority of us post Bitcoin ETF, that's kind of too late. Unfortunately, the best you can hope for is don't dox yourself online. But this becomes really concerning. Like the gold confiscation or the potential Bitcoin confiscation becomes pretty concerning when you think about. They didn't know who was buying gold back in 1930. Mm-hmm. They had no idea. But now they know who bought Bitcoin on a KYC exchange. They know your Nostr account. They know your Bitcoin address. They know your Lightning address. They have your date of birth. They have everything. So just operate with that kind of mindset, and you'll be fine.
That's why it's really important, I think, for Bitcoin applications, more than any other application, to be very privacy focused.
Like that should be the top thing.
It should be a huge priority to not even allow someone to attach their real world identity unknowingly to the fact that they're a Bitcoiner. I don't know if you've listened to that June Seth podcast. Mm-mm. No, it was a great podcast where the scammer ended up contacting him and trying to get him to give up his Gmail credentials so that he could sign into his exchange accounts. But the scammer had like an email list of wealthy Bitcoiners.
Oh, wow.
That he was like robocalling and called up June Seth and tried to scam him. But that's kind of not only are you potentially vulnerable to the confiscation should the government ever choose to do that, but you're also more vulnerable to scams. In the case where you're associating your
I would say post Bitcoin ETF, like definitely, like if you're a pleb and you're like wondering, oh, should I, like definitely keep yourself undoxed as much as possible, because we're definitely headed into this direction where they're going to confiscate our Bitcoin. I believe. I've always said it. I think that's inevitable. I think that hopefully it doesn't pass, and hopefully we have some laws in place here in Texas, but I think that is definitly on the horizon.
We'll rejoin Mexico.
No, I'm just saying, like that you have to be really dumb not to see that that's going to happen at some point.
I think I'm dumb because I don't actually believe it's 100% likely to happen.
I think it's like, let's be serious. Let's see. I would say it's about 47% likely.
That's very precise. What kind of math that backs up 47%?
Because I was going to say 35, and then I upped all the other things I was thinking about. Because I think about this a lot. Do you not think about this a lot?
No. I just imagine I'm going to be poor forever. That's the way I think. Again, back to like the minimalism thing. I just imagine I'm never going to have material wealth, and that is okay. And that, van down by the river, why not? I'm happy being a man down by the river. I'll learn to love the river. I have a van.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, and by land down. Yeah, I don't have land by the river.
Down by
the
river.
Not a bad idea.
Yeah, great post. I'm going to read it this weekend.
Yeah.
Stackers, definitely think about all of that I just said. Think about it. Think long and hard. But, the next top story, this is the final top story. People who bought Berkshire cheap have their trades.
This is the fourth one, isn't it?
Oh, is it? No, I think
so.
this is the final one.
Okay.
Yeah. Siggy 47, June 4th, Econ territory, 34 comments, 2,000 cents. What's this, Keon?
Yeah, so New York Stock Exchange appears to have had an issue where they made Berkshire's Class A stock price. Yeah, it's like sign up walled, paywalled, whatever.
No
but,
archive.
They had their Class A stock price show up, and they're like on all the exchanges appear to be very, very low. I think it was like tens of dollars or something. And a bunch of traders bought it, and it was like big news that day. And what the New York Stock Exchange has decided to do is just like reverse all of those trades. So people who bought, because Berkshire does this thing where they never split their stock, and so one share is worth $620,000. Yeah, so it's like having it worth tens of dollars is very low. Extraordinarily low, and people thought they were buying it on the cheap, but it was ultimately a glitch, and New York Stock Exchange reversed it. And then it also affected several other stocks in the market somehow, and the New York Stock Exchange also decided to reverse those. I think it affected GME is what they claim. It affected other stocks. I forget exactly. I went and like archived the link and checked it out. But this happens quite a bit where they have like a technical glitch. They're running code, like anyone, and it has problems. But it is a weird form of control where they can give you incorrect information.
Yeah.
And then you pay the consequences.
Yeah. Got the top comment from a display says the article doesn't go into too much detail about the nature of the glitch in quotations, but this is the right outcome, isn't it? If the sellers had no intention of selling at that price, then there really was no agreement on making a little transfer under those conditions. I take your point, though, that this grace is only extended very selectively, and most people just have to eat it when a glitch happens. Free TX says, related, these are good examples of why, in quotations, smart contracts are less useful in the real world than people imagine. You think that's necessarily true?
What's really true?
Smart contracts part?
Oh.
He says most real-world contracts establish definitions and frameworks to align to a mutually desired outcomes. They are not meant to cover every eventuality in an exhaustive capacity. The entire reason we have courts, arbitration, is to handle such situations. It's often very murky, and partial resolutions are often.
I think it's an interesting point. He's basically saying that code can't cover all cases where things might, especially where things don't go as expected. And that's all a smart contract is trying to formalize an arrangement in code. And if you haven't thought about certain conditions yet, they can't really do much. But some of smart contracts do incorporate this type of, my understanding at least, and they should if they don't, is they do incorporate human judgment into them and allow voting of people and have this kind of balance of powers or whatever, checks and balances. And so that would be how you solve that. I mean, we do the same thing. Like we have these contracts, but they're not enough. You also need a court to kind of say they were violated or not.
It's
so
interesting.
Smart contracts can have that too.
Ribbert 19 said the system is a huge fraud, but this shouldn't come as a surprise to any of us who have come to Snacker News. We know what the game is about. I was talking about this to somebody in the lab today. Do you still find some of this stuff surprising? I don't. Is that because we're jaded, or you think it's just because we've seen it all at this point, or we're expecting it?
I think we're exposed to it a lot, and we're all kind of thinking about it. I would guess that's most of what's going on.
Yeah, I do think that's interesting. I think that's fascinating. It's like what happened along the way where we're just now kind of seeing it, calling it as we see it, kind of thing. I think
Bitcoiners are in a way are like pumping, or it's like a bit of confirmation bias where they're like pumping their own bags. They're looking for flaws in the current system because they want this competing system to win.
Does that necessarily mean that they're not right though on Bitcoin?
No, I mean I obviously think they're right, but it does. It is a bias that we have to see these like flaws as like a big deal.
Yeah, bigger than probably what it really is.
Bigger than what other
confirmation
people
bias.
Think. That's what I said just like 5 sentences ago. Yeah, are you shooting me or are you shooting?
I just like shooting. That's my new thing now. Cool.
Can you imagine a gun that had that noise?
Whoa. Yeah. And then we're gonna jump into that's all the top 5 stories of the week, Snackers. Now we're gonna jump into Coob's top 5 stories. Keon, or not top 5. Your stories of the week. What is this one?
Yeah, this is a really interesting post from Anon where he describes how he is, disassociating his Bitcoin from his identity, and what he's doing is he's using the Crew Wasabi coordinator. I think it's Whirlpool is the protocol, and then he's using those mixed funds, or the Coinjoin funds, to open brand new Lightning channels. Mm-hmm. And then he's sending them out to a Lightning wallet. He says he uses Phoenix, and then closing down the node, shutting the channel, and closing down the node, and then redoing it all over again with a new UTXO. So he's like
even Peter Todd jumps in here too, right?
Yeah,
wow.
He's kind of attempting to double up on privacy. He's like, maybe Wasabi isn't giving me great anonymity, but if I take a coin-joined UTXO and then I send it through Lightning, for real, I'm going to have like excellent privacy. And so that's what he does. And he has some interesting quirks in here that he likes, where he picks very new nodes, hoping that they'll go offline shortly after being established, so that they don't have like the routing history of his transaction, and that they don't have the history of his channel. And that's interesting. I've never heard that really discussed much. But overall, pretty cool, pretty fascinating.
Really good stuff. That was a good one, Keon.
Yeah.
The next one was how much Bitcoin owned by ETFs is too much. What is this one?
Yeah, this one is another one by Scoresby. Who's been writing about Ecash to Car's chagrin. And
I love Scoresby. I saw him last night.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, I love Scoresby.
Anyway,
you can disagree. This is like I'm going on a rant here. As Bitcoiners, we have to be able to talk about these truths, or what we believe to be truths ourselves, and have these conversations, even if they're like, they cause some sort of disagreement. Disagreement's good for the ecosystem. This is how we move forward. So I just want people to know that, like, you can disagree with somebody and still have love for them, if that makes any sense. Just want to clear the air, because that's I've been hearing this kind of thing this week. I went on Alex's podcast and we were talking about this too. So just want to get it out there.
Yeah. I don't think
it wasn't attributed to this. It was more just me, a general proclamation of a sort.
Proclamation. Car's proclamations. I'm one drink in. Well, it's probably like 3 drinks.
Drinking coffee. I haven't actually had a drink in a while.
Congratulations. Yeah. I should get on that bandwagon, but I felt like
saving it for
time
Nashville.
feels really slow to me right now, and I must be like wasted. Anyway, this was about the ETFs and how much is too much in an ETF. I thought it was a great question.
Oh, interesting. So you're saying maybe like they need to spin up another ETF?
Well, there's already 9 of them. I don't think we need any more.
No, but like, this is a really dumb question, and maybe you don't know the answer to this, but can BlackRock spin up another ETF?
Maybe not though. Maybe they can't. Maybe the SEC has rules against that. Why would they though? Too. There's already 9 of them.
Yeah, proof of reserves, man.
If you guys want to invest in a based ETF, I recommend Bitwise. I met the CTO, and he's a total like a real Bitcoin guy, and I think that's pretty cool. Anyway,
is that a show?
Sort of. I thought he gave me great advice, and he was a really neat guy. I was expecting him to be a total suit, and he was a really.
There you go. There's a show right there for you, Snackers.
I mean, I don't hold Bitwise ETF.
See, this is why you only listen to the top 5 on Snacker News.
Yeah,
because you gotta
be skeptical.
Once we get into after the top 5, it's all potentially shows. So
yeah, I mean, they're buying me my Lambo.
Oh, is that what's going on behind the scenes? That
My
makes
Lambo
sense.
van. Anyway, whatever. But yeah, how much is too much? I don't know. I almost think that I almost don't want them to exist, to be honest.
Now you don't want them to exist. Last year you were like, no, this is good for Bitcoin. Roll the tape, stackers.
Roll it, because it's not going to say
Carr
that.
was the only one on this podcast that was saying no ETF.
I mean, you might have been saying the craziest stuff about ETFs on this podcast. But
Damn right I
that
was.
doesn't mean I wasn't
Damn
saying.
right I was.
I want Bitcoin's price to be back at $10,000. That's what I want.
So you want freedom money. That's what you want. You don't
I want
an
us to
asset.
figure out hard problems, but I think it needs to like do this oscillation to get there. But anyway,
So you want freedom money.
I would prefer Bitcoin to be both a freedom asset and freedom
Not
money.
$10,000, buddy.
Oh, I think it's a freedom asset at $10,000.
Yeah, I think so too. I don't think it's at. I don't think it's. Never mind. I don't know. where I was going
Anyway,
with that.
lots of interesting answers in here. I forget what I voted. We do this thing now where we like blind your votes, or the server doesn't know what you
really?
voted on.
Good for you.
Yeah.
Let's see. And check the code.
But
It's online.
Yeah. Oh, it says it's ended. But if you had voted, it wouldn't show you what you voted on because we don't
I'm
know.
a non.
Oh, you're also a non.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
I
I probably voted like 1 million, maybe 100,000 Bitcoin, something like that. But other people in the comments are like, any amount is okay. You don't understand Bitcoin if you think it matters.
Yeah. Cool stuff. The next one we're gonna get into my top 5 of the week. Top 4
Well,
is this one. Did you see the Ark Labs launched?
I mean, isn't it like their third announcement about
Ark?
announcing?
Yeah, I thought what was really interesting was, oh man, it's not in here. Crap, it's not in here. Never
Not
mind.
in this
I
one?
won't bring it up. It'll come out later. Anyways, yeah, I just wanted to share that because that's a long time coming from last year, I think, and I think this is Tieto's.
Oh no, this is
Is it not Tieto's?
I know Tiero is involved.
This is not his announcement.
I don't think
I thought
so.
it was.
No, isn't Ark Labs is
Oh,
Barack's
somebody
thing.
else. Oh, okay.
Yeah, Ark is Barack. It's Barack's invention.
I thought it was. Well, yeah, I know that, but I thought this was Tieto's announcement.
Oh, I see. Oh, Ark Lab is launching to build the protocol.
Yeah,
I see. Okay.
yeah.
Oh, okay. So Fuji Money, because Tiero was the founder of Fuji Money,
Right.
which was doing stable coins on Liquid. Okay, so they're pivoting to Ark.
Still early. We'll see what develops here.
Yeah, these guys are really interesting. These guys are, they think about Bitcoin in a different way, and I think that's cool.
The other one was. Did you see this one?
I did
Tucker
see
Carlson
that.
interview
I
with
watched that.
Bukele.
They didn't talk about Bitcoin at all, dude.
I know they didn't talk about Bitcoin at all, which is
He
kind of
wanted
weird.
to a little bit. He was talking about the Federal Reserve.
Yeah, that
a
is
little
true.
bit.
They didn't talk about Bitcoin. They didn't even talk about them holding Bitcoin.
Well,
or the ramifications
did you
of them.
see?
Maybe it'll be a part 2 next week or something.
Bukele's talk.
You're right. I didn't even notice that they didn't talk about Bitcoin.
Well, I posted it in the Bitcoin territory, and then I was like, "Oh, I regret this because they didn't talk about Bitcoin." But if you listen to the first Tucker Carlson episode with Bukele, they spend probably half of it talking.
Wait,
about
he's done a podcast with him before?
not a podcast, but on Fox. He had him like for like a
Oh,
2
I
hour.
didn't know that.
I feel like it was 2 hours. It might have been. A little
This is my
shorter.
first time ever hearing this guy talk, dude.
Bukele?
I've never heard him talk before, other than the announcement in 21.
Ooh, shit.
And I'm just because I want to avoid it until I actually get to El Salvador to visit it. I want to keep my, opinions to myself. But after seeing this, I just couldn't help it. It was just too good of an interview not to watch it.
What'd you like about it?
Dude, it was really impressive. I don't know if anything that he said is actually true, but if he's speaking truth there, I'm really impressed. And it takes a lot for me to become impressed. So we'll say that. Now I really want to visit El Salvador, see what's going on there. But yeah, I go into more here, Stackers, if you want to see my real comments on it. But I thought it was fascinating.
It
really bad. It was really, because I think at the end of the day, like, he's a really polarizing figure, you know, in the Bitcoin space. Good, I mean, good or bad, however you want to see it. Like, he's polarizing. And when somebody's that polarizing, you just cannot look away. And I just, there's very few people that are polarizing in the Bitcoin space.
Really, I feel like nearly everyone is polarized.
Not at a level where it kind of like can shift.
What do you think
the future of it, if that makes any sense?
What do you think?
I feel like Sailor's kind of like that a little bit, and then I think
way.
This guy's kind of like that, where they're so polarizing that it can move the needle in good or bad directions.
In what way is Bukele polarizing, though?
I think what he did in 21 when he started moving in that direction with adopting Bitcoin as the nation's currency in El Salvador. I think that's such a big move already. And then all the stuff that he's done with the arrest and all that stuff, that's super polarizing.
So those are the two poles.
And then you have other people in the ecosystem attacking him. And then on that side, they're also attacking back. So it's like he's a polarizing figure. And whether you agree with any of his politics or not, or however he's doing them, it's still something that you should probably be paying attention to, because it's like Sailor. Like, we kind of have to pay attention to what that guy does. He has so much Bitcoin. It's polarizing.
But what do you think? What's your take on Bukele? Do you
I don't know. If everything he says in this is true, that's fascinating, because he talks like a lot of old Mexican Christian leaders that I've heard before my entire life.
But
and that's,
is Mexico in a good place right now?
No, I'm just saying, like, there's like Mexican, there's always like some old dude in the church that's like it's been there for a really long time, and when they say things, it moves the room, right? Because what they say, like, people listen. And when I saw him talking, I was like, wow, this reminds me a lot of that. And I was like, I didn't expect that from him.
Do you think he's full of shit?
I don't know, dude. I don't know. If I met him, I would be able to tell.
You'd be able to tell better?
Yeah, I'm pretty good at that.
Yeah.
But maybe I'm not.
Yeah.
I like to think. It was interesting, though. When you look into his eyes, you can tell he's seen a lot of darkness, though. Those are eyes that have seen a lot of darkness.
But so have, like, bad people seen a lot of darkness. Bad and good people see darkness.
Yeah, I don't know, man. But it's all just watching it here. It was interesting. I don't know. I've never met the guy. I've never been to the country, so I don't really know what I'm saying right now. I'm just saying I found this completely fascinating. And, like, yeah.
I mean, you haven't listened to Peter's podcast with him.
No, but I'll probably go back and listen to it.
Peter went to he went to the White House of El Salvador wearing ripped up jeans.
Oh, yeah, I remember those pictures. Yeah, I haven't listened to it.
Yeah, it was a great podcast.
I'll go back and listen to it. What's your thoughts on it?
I personally like Bukele. Like, I'm emotionally aligned with him, but I don't know how much of it is true or not.
Yeah,
and then I think
time will tell.
And I think the issue is that a lot of, like, Latin American leaders tend to be, or have a history of being very charismatic and, God-fearing and all these things, while simultaneously committing atrocities. And so it's like he likes this thing that I like, Bitcoin.
Could be that 1 in a million.
Yeah, is he the 1 in a million, or
Or
is he just another one? That's kind of,
could be, though.
Yeah,
and that's the interesting thing.
Yeah,
I don't know, man. There's definitely a vibe changing in Latin America, and this guy is at the forefront of it.
They've clearly bought a lot of change.
I mean, where do you feel stronger about, this guy or the other one, the Malay one?
I haven't listened to much Malay because he doesn't speak in English. He speaks in Spanish.
I mean, time will tell. I mean, time will tell. I mean, his resume will speak for itself. So we'll see.
I mean, he's done a good job, but according to, like, the upturn in El Salvador, one of my best friends growing up was an El Salvadorian whose family fled El Salvador as a result of, like, all the violence. And so it's cool to see El Salvador now attracting the people who fled back. I think that's pretty awesome.
Yeah. Anyways. The other one I wanted to bring up was the BlackRock Citadel Securities-backed TXSE group to start Texas Stock Exchange. Did you see this?
I did see that.
You came over here. You're like, I want to talk about this.
I think that was my share, wasn't it?
Yeah, this was probably yours, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, look at me. I shared it.
Yeah, so for the stackers at home, TXSE Group, backed by BlackRock and Citadel Securities, plans to launch Texas Stock Exchange in Dallas, going up against established New York-centric exchanges in a bid to attract global companies. The exchange, which has raised about $120 million, plans to file registration documents with the United States Securities and Exchange Commission to start operating as a national securities exchange later this year. That was reported by Yahoo Finance. Yeah.
Yeah.
Any thoughts?
Well, I just think it's weird. I've never heard. I don't know how many stock exchanges exist. I feel like there are very few, and all of a sudden we have a new one, and it's from BlackRock, and it's in Texas. I was going to say Austin, but it's in Texas. They're going to do it in Dallas. I think that's pretty.
Yeah, Elvis.
Pretty cool.
Where was the one with the Undisciplined said, "Is this a step towards or away from Texas independence?" And Keffer says, "When I see a headline like that, I think of Texas independence. Why do companies relocate to other countries? Why do they move to different states? There are always reasons. Texas, to me, is the most obvious candidate to become independent from the U.S. It won't happen overnight. It will be many steps, and before you know it, it's done."
Will you fight in that war, Carr?
What?
Will you fight in that war?
What war?
Where Texas tries to free itself from the United States? Because that's
I love America.
Okay, so you'll fight on the American side when Texas tries to
I think it's 100% a move towards it. There's people inside of Texas that want it to succeed. I don't know if you've been around Texas that long, but there's people talking about it. I love America, for the record.
So you don't want that to happen.
I think America could still be saved. I just think it's overrun by communistic practices, and we have really dumb leaders. And I don't even think they're like, maybe they're, I hope they're not corrupt. I just hope they're dumb. Like, you know what I mean? Like, there's something to be said for somebody who leads that's just not good for the job and they suck at it. And that's perfectly fine. I can deal with that. But it's the corruption that's just like, that scares me. Because if it really is corruption, we have a bigger systemic problem. And I want to believe it's not that. But it does. I mean, there are people reporting, and there's people in our ecosystem that talk about this all the time, that it is corrupt. And I don't know, but I hope it's not, because America's worth saving, man. It's such a beautiful place. Like, going to California is beautiful, dude. Going to Texas, these other states,
you can get a visa gorgeous. When Texas is its own country. What do you think it should be called? I just think
we're stronger. We're stronger as a nation. We're stronger. We represent. I mean, there was a time where we represented really freedom values to the rest of the world. It was a beacon of light. It was a beacon of hope, and I don't want to believe that time is over. I mean, this is the stuff they taught you in school. I mean, whether you believe it was all, brainwashing, but I think there's something to be said about like saving it and just getting the right young person in office. Nothing to disrespect the elders who are running, but elders should be on the sidelines giving sage advice. They shouldn't be leading. And I think there needs to be a conversation around that for sure. And I don't know how that looks like, but there's no reason why there should be an old person. Like, he should be on the sidelines counseling the new leaders.
Well, both of them, right?
Yes.
Both of them are quite old.
It's completely obvious. Like, we need some new blood in there that has newer ideas, because right now where we're in is just, it's really scary, man. But this is why I Bitcoin. Anyways.
Yeah. What was I going to say? I think, I don't know. Did you watch there's a great show on Apple TV called Franklin. It's about Benjamin Franklin.
Oh, wow. Apple TV?
Yeah.
Did that? Interesting.
Yeah. It's actually really good. It has Charlie Sheen's brother. I don't remember his actual name.
Charlie Sheen's brother? Emilio Estevez?
No. The other one.
His dad, Martin Sheen?
No. The other guy who's like white.
He doesn't have any other brothers.
No, he has another brother.
No, he doesn't.
The other dude, the guy who did Wall Street.
That's Martin. That's Charlie Sheen.
No, but the older guy in that.
Oh, that's not his brother. That's Michael Douglas.
I think he's his brother, actually.
Michael Douglas is not is not Charlie Sheen's.
Fuck, I fucked up if it is.
It's not, dude.
I must have misremembered that. But I thought he was.
No, dude. No, they came out in a lot of movies together, and they kind of look alike. Like Martin Sheen and Michael Douglas do look alike. But no, Martin Sheen was in Apocalypse Now. So that's probably why, because Martin Sheen does kind of look like Michael Douglas in the 70s and the 80s.
Anyway, he plays Franklin. I'm fact
all
check.
That to say.
Someone fact check.
All that to say.
He plays Franklin.
Is it good or not?
It's good. And
wow.
But it like kind of gives you, it's like a very dramatic portrayal of America coming into being.
Oh wow. We need that kind of propaganda right now, to be honest. If there's going to be propaganda that they're going to be displaying out, it's like we need more patriotic propaganda. We don't need any more like, hey, let's it's just like we don't need the infighting right now. We need people to actually just step up and let's like turn this thing around like ASAP. It's not even we shouldn't even be arguing about it anymore. It just needs to be, you just need to step up at this point. Like it's dying. Like it literally is dying, and you need to do something about it. And if you're a capable American without a family, seriously consider it. But I mean,
without a family,
this is what we're doing. This is what we're doing. How many single men are out there?
More than there ever were before, probably.
Yeah. That's all I'm saying. Get involved.
I'm
Anyways.
not single. I'm not going to the draft of whatever war car is talking about.
No, I'm just saying, like, it's time to change it the other direction, man. That's all I'm talking about. I can't be the only one thinking like this right now.
I mean, you aren't, but I don't think it's like that. It's like an overnight situation where it's like one or the other. It's more like a slow slide where freedom loses and America loses, and then people who are less freedom oriented, the countries who are less freedom oriented,
maybe this is the backstop. Maybe that's what they're doing as a backstop. The last post is ditching the phone. This is from The Wild Hustle. Had 42 comments. He says, hey, freaks, The Wild Hustle is about 3 seconds away from ditching this iPhone. Instead of opting for Grammy, Hustle's thinking about ditching the phone altogether and using a VoIP provider with his laptop. Hustle understands that calls and texts will be seen and heard by the looters regardless, and doesn't understand what threat model he's solving for, but wants to explore life without a cell phone anyway. He's sure there might be some privacy and security benefits, but it seems as though he's mainly just focused on sticking it to the man. Any good, cool resources will be handsome.
He doesn't only talk in third person, he thinks in third person.
Any cool and good resources will be handsomely zapped. Much appreciated. Hustle. What do you think about this post?
I think it's interesting.
I love Hustle's posts, man. They're always great.
I've been wanting to get another laptop or another phone, but
I think Faraday bags, there is a good point here.
Oh, yeah.
I think these are something definitely stackers look into. Somebody recommended Jump Chat. Did you ever check out Jump Chat?
Never seen it.
Yeah, I never seen that either. But it feels like a honeypot.
Yeah, right. Did you listen to that podcast that Darth shared?
No, it's on my list though. I saw that. It was, where was that? That was a separate post, right?
Yeah, it's about a FBI developed phone.
God, you're at the end game, bro.
Yeah, we gonna win against that car?
I don't know. How many single men you got? We need we need the plebs to unite, like Captain America at the end of the Avengers. Where's the? I'm looking for the one. He goes, oh man, there's a good. He goes, yeah, right here. He goes, why are you talking in third person? Is it just a bit? And then the other guy goes, was wondering the same thing. It may be Sensei type experience if I had to guess. And then Hustle says, your guess is as good as the Wild Hustle.
That's right.
And he also says the Wild Hustle doesn't know, probably just for kicks. I think it's hilarious.
It is fun.
Anyways, are you gonna ditch your phone?
I'd love to get I'd probably switch to graphene if I didn't have to use iOS, because between me and Exeus, I'm the iOS user, and one of us has to be exposed to all the iOS stuff. Yeah. So that's me.
Yeah, that makes sense. Let's jump into the super stack segment of the week. It's the top stackers. Undisciplined. People hiding you. Rsync, dude. Rsync is on a killing spree with sats lately.
Yeah.
He's stacking them all up.
He has really been.
He's like dropping all the latest news. It's really cool to see.
Yeah, he's really
I try to zap him every time I see him post stuff because I want to encourage him to post stuff that I won't go out and seek out, but
he's stacking $70 a week just posting links. So
yeah, I know. That's what I'm saying. He's like
good.
He's doing pretty good. Elvis Mercury, Coins Reporter. Yeah, everybody. And then we're going to go into the most boring segment of Bitcoin with a cowboy segment. Coob is winning. And then there's Bitcoin is the future,
right.
Then everybody
Take
else.
my hat, fellas.
Jerry Garcia, blockchain boot. Pretty cool. Hasn't changed much. And then we're going to go to Million Sat Madness. I know. I'm calling it that
Monthly
still.
or daily Sat Madness.
Million Sat Madness. I enjoy the daily rewards, to be honest. I'm glad.
Yeah, we should go to. I think it'd be interesting to experiment with hourly ones and
Whoa.
see what that does.
Yeah, that'd probably get more people on there at the site.
I don't know how I designed that exactly, but
Maybe EK can. EK, you can whip that up.
yeah, whip it up, EK. Cars.
Hourly rewards. Yeah, maybe. He says he'll look into it.
EK's still here. Do you want to say?
Do you want to say bye or
Yeah.
or hi? No, he doesn't want to talk.
Never mind.
Never mind. And then we're gonna go through the saloon. The saloon, baby. You ever go through the saloon, Keon, or you just kind of?
I do go through the
Ignore it.
saloon.
There's some weird stuff on here sometimes.
Oh yeah, that's where we all post our
This is
weird
where all
stuff.
the
I post
weird
my
stuff.
weird stuff in there.
It's like, how weird can you be? And you just go to the saloon. It's kind of shocking sometimes.
Well, it's fun. I think we should make it better. That's my.
Pretty good already as it is.
I think we could just make it a little more real time, and then
yeah,
not
yeah.
rap every day.
I don't know what that is. What is that? Is that a time travel machine? Oh no, it's
Money tree, bro.
just a money tree. Oh wow.
Money jars.
Whoa, look at this.
That is insane. Who lives there? That's an AI generated image, right?
Maybe. At this point, it's very hard to tell.
That is a crazy person.
Campbell soup code. It's all there, Keon. Look at that. People showing their love for Stacker News live.
Oh wow.
Can you believe it?
Yeah. Who's that woman?
I don't know. Somebody's
No
girlfriend,
women
I'm
watch
sure.
this show.
Pretty cool. Keon, what are you doing this weekend?
I
Look at
am
all the comments.
Going to work on the stuff I'm working on, and then I'm going to do the newsletter, and I still haven't done my investor update. But otherwise, I'm going to be alive if all goes well.
Nice.
How about you?
We got a workshop tomorrow. Topher's doing a frost workshop.
Ooh.
That should be really informing.
Yeah.
A bunch of work to do. And that's pretty much it. Looks like we got some comments here. Somebody said my book appeared on Stacker News before I published it. Okay.
Oh, right. Yeah.
I don't know what that means.
Yeah. JBS was sharing chapters of his book before they published it. Where did it get published to? Did you share the publication?
I don't know.
Can we buy the physical copy? This is my question to the writers on Stacker News. If you're writing
Maybe.
novels
We
or
got
something.
EK in the comments says you will use Ecash and you'll be happy. Whoa.
Heat.
And he also says I used Ecash yesterday to pay for Super Testnet course, but the gateway didn't. What is it? Because the Lightning gateway didn't have enough email liquidity.
Hear that, guys? It's not a utopia.
There you go. Stacker News developer pro Ecash, or I don't know. Keon hasn't said yes or no.
I mean, EK has his own opinions.
Okay. You got Michael. Oh, whoa. Hey, what's up, Michael? Yo, guys, really dig the minimalist mindset.
Michael is the Wavlik, one
It
of
feels akin to
co-founders.
anti-consumerism, which I also can relate to. He's good. Not sure if everyone sees it that way, though.
They've had a lot of hot releases. They're like
Dude,
selling
Wavelijk is-
tickets and stuff.
Dude, Wavelake is killing it, dude.
They've hit that terminal
They're
velocity.
so creative. They're so creative, man. So creative.
Do you remember how
Definitely
bearish
check out
you were on
this.
them?
Oh, dude, but that was when it was just Michael.
I know. When it was very early.
Hey, roll the tapes.
Roll the tapes
That
back.
tape does exist.
Watch me tell Carr he needs to.
That was like
hold
episode
his
9 or
words.
something.
It was very
You
early.
were totally right on that. I will give you your flowers on that. You were totally right on that.
I have flowers.
But yeah, that was pre Sam. Anyways, check out the Ticket Bot. They're gonna be doing they're gonna be doing a show in Nashville. Do you want to do a live Stacker News Live and invite the snackers? I was gonna ask you off camera, but
You already did, but yes, I will do one.
So should we make that announcement here pretty soon? I'm just gonna set the date and the time, and then I'll figure everything else out.
We could just do it in a hotel lobby.
Ooh.
We just go to a hotel lobby, and then if they kick us out, we'll just move the show.
There you go.
We got to have a battery and stuff.
I kind of want to make it to a party. I want to invite some friends.
You like a party.
I love parties. All right, Snackers, you heard it here first. We're doing a live Snacker News, or Snacker News live in person in Nashville at a lobby or a pool.
Possibly. We'll buy...
Or just a house.
We'll buy Domino's pizzas and tap water.
No, there'll be beer at least. Cool. Yeah, that's all I got. Keon, you got anything else?
No.
All right. Well, Stackers, I want you to go out there, and I want you to find your minimalist place, and let us know about it.
Or don't. Keep it quiet. Keep it minimal.